Good evening, everyone. This is Sanctuary, episode 29 by Gnoshery Libertas on July 11th, 2022. I am Marsha. I'm without my partner tonight, but hopefully he will have a stable internet connection soon and be back with us shortly. Last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, our last call was on mastering emotions. And I don't know about you guys, but I have had a lot of opportunities to practice what Spirit brought through over these last 2 weeks. There's definitely been a lot coming up on the collective level, but also on the individual levels for us to really sit with, be with, and kind of use some of the supporting energies that Spirit gave 2 weeks ago to really help us stay rooted and as kind of also allowing us to sway with the breeze so that we aren't toppling in all of these energies that are going on around us. And I had written on my paper last call, saying like 2 weeks ago, the last call was mastering emotions. And as I was meditating here, I heard like last call, bars closing. You don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. And it was this feeling from Spirit, like this victim martyr spiral that we have kind of been endlessly circling, this wheel of doom, if you want to call it. We are being asked to master this now, to recognize that a true spiritual being is actually never in a state of victimtude. Because actually, yes, Mitzi said, like bamboo. Absolutely. We are being encouraged to really stay strong and also to understand that if we do kind of keep dipping our toe or our whole body dunk in this victim martyr spiral, it's going to get increasingly more and more comfortable or uncomfortable, because the boomerang effect, this buffer of time space that we used to have that kind of protected us from understanding that we were the creator of our reality, because we weren't understanding that our thoughts and our emotions were actually creating the things that were coming back to us in our field, that is no longer going to be available to us. It's going to boomerang right back in our face if we are out of alignment. And so we are really encouraged to take the practices and build practices of our own that allow us to really sit with the fullness of the human emotional spectrum, because in the mastering of that within ourselves, it's going to allow us to offer a presence to the world that brings a brilliance and a radiance that hasn't been seen in a very, very long time on this planet. And I'm hearing from the Christed souls, it's going to be seen in a more awe-inspiring way than it has ever been experienced before by any soul. So we have this high frequency that we are moving into at the very same time that we are kind of shaking the rug out and releasing all of this debris. And so, when we take that dust out, all the air is filled for a time, and it's really hard to see through the clouds. And so it can get very easy to fall into that depression or that despair or that low frequency place that kind of keeps us in that feeding frenzy of the archons, like we've talked about in previous calls, rather than in that place of the master, which is where Spirit is leading and guiding us. The very first lyrics, and I think the only lyrics for tonight, were no regrets. Everything will work out fine. We'll hold our breath, wait for another sign. And this feeling that as we reflect on the really human parts of our lives that we are beginning to bring into mastery, we're going to look back on things that we thought were perhaps like traumas or woundings or things that brought us shame in a way that we thought maybe we couldn't overcome. Spirit is going to give us this best friend perspective that allows us to see through this life review that there are no regrets. In fact, everything we did was perfect. And the things that we did that were not in alignment, we are gifted these little lessons, these little do-overs, these course corrections where Spirit will kind of humorously and amusingly and lovingly guide us into the decision we could have made that would have brought love forth. And because there is no time and space, any choice that we have made, past or future, can always be rectified in this now moment. So no regrets, everything will work out fine. We hold our breath and we wait for another sign. And that sign is we're waiting on the activation from our weave to tell us what our next step is. We are not mentally projecting ourselves forward. We are instead staying in a space of active receptivity. And that means waiting, patiently waiting. And what does that mean to the human? Well, it means doing our best to trust that what is ours cannot be missed, that we are always walking toward it. Of course, we can do some self-destructive behaviors and some sabotaging along the way, but it is always there for us in escrow. And so Spirit wants us to remember that and to know that we are always being guided when we are in that receptive state. The song that these lyrics came from was Bittersweet Faith. And Spirit really highlighted that humanity has this kind of bittersweet faith right now. We kind of know deep in our core that we are moving somewhere beautiful and exciting, but we're also like, what the hell is going on? There's this journey that we are taking to get there. The process is very bittersweet for the human because we are experiencing this high and this low and this within and without. And Spirit is just acknowledging that from Spirit's perspective, it is all beautiful and amusing and wonderful. But from ours, it can often feel like this bittersweet faith. And our light transmission tonight is actually the theme, the shakedown. And it goes kind of in alignment with what Spirit was saying with the fact that we cannot exist in these victim spirals anymore. We can't exist in our stories without them coming to kind of slap us in the face. In fact, the very first phrase to come through the reading was, "The buck stops here." And I felt like Spirit wanted me to dig into that a little deeper to get like, what is the meaning on that phrase specifically? And what came through in all capital letters is, the ultimate responsibility is mine.